What's up, Exiters? Today we've exited off New Orleans, Louisiana to bring you a video, obviously. But today's video is about the voodoo priestess Marie Laveau. Currently walking up to our first stop of the day, Marie Laveau's house. Alright, so here it is, 120 St. Anne Street, the former home of Marie Laveau. It used to be 152 Rue Street. The original house was torn down in 1902, and the new property, which is now used as a rental property, was built on the original foundation of Marie Laveau's house. And that's it right there.
Yeah, so it looks like a duplex, because if you come over here on the side of this truck, you can see the numbers on that door. And then there's numbers on the other side for 1022.
Okay, so as legend has it, the way Marie Laveau inherited this house was a man came to her and wanted her help to free his son from murder charges. So Marie held 3 peppers under her tongue and infused it with her essence. Put the peppers underneath the judge's seat, his bench, and then took a cow tongue and nailed it under the seat of the prosecuting attorney. This in turn caused the attorney to not be able to speak good. He couldn't get his words out, therefore he couldn't present his case. The charges was dropped. The judge threw it out. The son went free. As gratitude, the man gave Marie Laveau this house where she lived until the day she died. Pretty cool little legend.
And y'all, it is hot, hot, hot. Do you think I would get bad juju if I stole one of these hair ties?
Yeah, I wouldn't risk it.
My hair is like sweating to my neck. It's gross. So one common thing, if you've ever heard anything about her grave site, people would often leave things there because they believe that if they did that, and I think it's put 3 X's on the tomb and asked for a favor, she would grant them a wish. Obviously, they changed the rules to the cemetery, if you didn't know, because of vandalism and whatnot. So now it is actually prohibited from leaving anything on any of the tombstones there. But if you'll notice, there's like a lot of hair ties here. One there, several there. There.
There's a scrunchie over there.
We got a hair clip right here. More right here. Down there. There. And you got some coins. Typically, I think that's something they leave on the tombstone also, or the, what do you call that? Monument? It's called?
Monument?
No, I don't think it's called a monument. Or crypt or something. I don't know if you know what it's called.
Mausoleum?
Leave us a comment because we don't know, obviously. The big scrunchie up there.
So can you imagine you're walking down this road, or this street I should say, St. Anne Street at night, And all of a sudden you see a lady dressed in white with her famous turban that was folded into 7 points to look like a crown, obviously, because she was the Voodoo Queen of New Orleans. So imagine you're walking this way, or maybe you're coming from up the street and you're trying to head over to this area across the way, and you see Marie Laveau walking down through here. Me personally, I don't know that I would be intrigued to see her, or if I would pee my pants and run in the opposite direction. Your thoughts, your comments, what would you do if you saw Marie Laveau one night casually walking these streets while you're coming either back because you've rented her house for a vacation, or you're just passing by going somewhere else, and you see the lady dressed in white with her crown turban on? Would you wet yourself? Or would you be semi-intrigued and excited? Inquiring minds want to know. Okay, so like I said before, the original house was torn down in 1903. I believe I said 1902 earlier, but it is 1903. But
Hot, your brain is fried.
it is, it's so hot. But the new house that you guys have seen was built on the original foundation. So that leads a lot of people to believe that because it was built on the original foundation, that her essence and spirit is still tied to the new house. They still perform rituals in front of her house, even though the house is now used as a vacation rental.
And some of these rituals even include animal sacrifices.
Yeah,
so it says.
Yeah, animal sacrifices for protection.
Frank better watch out.
So they've claimed that, well, they claim towards the end of her life, Marie Laveau became very ill, and she very rarely was seen leaving her house. She was just so ill, fated, that she stayed inside most of the time until she eventually passed. All right, so one of the encounters here at Marie Laveau's house comes from a couple that was renting the place out one night. They came back, go to sleep. It was just after midnight. They start hearing chanting, drum sounds. So they think it's coming from the street, right? So the guy gets up, he looks out the window, doesn't see anything. They check all the windows are locked. They keep hearing it, so he goes out and he goes down the street, right here, one way or the other. And he's looking for the chanting, the drum sounds, because they're trying to go to sleep. He circles the block. He doesn't see anybody, right? Nobody's out chanting. It's well after midnight. No drums are being played. They get back. They continue to hear it. They get freaked out, and they're like, they realize it's coming from inside the house. So like, we can't stay here. This is weird. So they leave. When they come back,
the next day they come back.
Because, they're not staying there at night. Would you stay there? Anyway, so they come back the next day, and they find in the center of the room a single feather. Now, some of you might be thinking, it's a single feather, big deal, maybe a bird got in the house. But like I said, all the windows were locked, doors were locked. The single feather, letting these cars go by, the single feather was Marie Laveau's calling card, so to speak. That was her thing. And the single feather is of great essence and relic.
It's considered good luck if you find it.
Yeah.
With the exception of finding it on your pillow. If you find the feather on your pillow, supposedly that means sickness or death.
But in the voodoo community, it's considered, the feather is very significant with them because of Marie Laveau. That's what I was trying to get out, and I couldn't. It's so hot, I couldn't. Brain's shutting down. All right, so we're here in Congo Square, just outside the French Quarter. Now you might be asking, well, what's this got to do with Marie Laveau? Well, on Sunday after Mass, the slaves or the enslaved people of New Orleans was free for the rest of the day. They would gather here. They would meet relatives that had been sold to other slave owners. They would barter and trade goods. They would also celebrate with song, you know, some dancing, a little ritual when the night sky fell. So it's a pretty happening place back then on Sunday after church. All this was, you know, back then was swampland. Didn't look nothing like this, but you can imagine, you know, thousands of enslaved and freed people of color here celebrating, getting to know each other, reminiscing old times, you know. Sorry, I keep saying Maria for some reason.
Me too.
Don't know why. So Marie Laveau was trained by voodoo practitioner Dr. John. And she was so good that she quickly became his successor. She was the center of attention, so to speak, here at Congo Square. She would do cures, offer charms. She was seen carrying around her pet boa over her shoulder. His name was Zombie. She would chant. She would gather intel on her elite, wealthy clients. And she would even welcome them to come to Congo Square to witness the rituals and everything that went on here, while also charging them a little something for
She was a businesswoman.
Yeah. You know, you can't get everything for free. You got to pay. And back then, you know, if you were wealthy and elite, you know, and needing her services, then I imagine you're going to pay a pretty penny. So
Breeze felt good on my pits.
So like I said, she was the center of attention here. She welcomed everyone, but at the same time, she commanded respect. And
yeah, so there. I mean, it wasn't anything for you to hear them chanting Queen Marie, Queen Marie.
I mean, if you imagine you're walking by Congo Square late on a Saturday afternoon, just minding your own business, and you hear a few thousand people in Congo Square chanting Queen Marie, Queen Marie, that'd make your hair stand up a little bit, make you take notice of what was going on and who they were chanting for, I guess.
So on a side note that this really has nothing to do with this video, but this is like the second location that we've like creepily like followed a tour group unintentionally. Because we were like, oh, let's go to Congo Square across the road, and there's the tour group again.
Yeah,
they've moved over to the third location, which is in some bushes, and I'm very curious about what's in those bushes now.
Something lurks in the bushes. Yeah, we're not close enough to hear what they're saying, but it is pretty funny that it seems like we're following them.
Alright, so we've made it over to St. Louis Cemetery number 1, where Marie Laveau is supposedly buried.
Lovely wall, isn't it?
So they have this place kind of locked up pretty tight.
Yeah, I don't think you can get in here without a tour group now, can
No,
you?
the only way you can get in is a tour group, because they closed it up because of like vandalism. People were breaking into the tombs that were inside, stealing the bones. And I think I read they were selling them on like the black market or something. But Tour groups are kind of pricey here. One I found online was like 25 bucks a person, and reviews are, it's not very great like the tours are. I mean, sure, it's awesome to see inside of there. See Nicolas Cage's crazy pyramid tomb waiting on him right beside Marie Laveau's tomb. But that still is very pricey. I've read reviews where they pack so many tour groups into like this small, I mean, literally the cemetery is one block. Like we're walking the block. And they pile so many tour groups into it that people are on top of each other and tend to get in your photos when you're taking photos. So we opted to just creepily walk along the outside.
And stick the camera over the wall.
Which technically we're not supposed to be doing.
You're not supposed to stick it over the wall?
Well, no, I know. You're not supposed to. It's like prohibited to film in there, so I've read. But
well, I ain't seen.
Some people have filmed in there, and like the tour people have not said anything to them at all, and some people have been told not to film inside there.
Well, I would like to point out that so far we have walked 2.5 walls, and I have not seen one sign that says "Do not film over the wall." So I'm filming over the wall.
So supposedly when people visit here to see her tomb, they leave like offerings at the tomb, like beads, candles, coins. It's part of like a voodoo tradition to leave that. And one, saying is that you can invoke her spirit and ask her for a wish. So first thing you would do is knock 3 times on the slab and then ask her for the favor. Another theory says that you have to draw an X, put your hand over it, rub your foot 3 times against the bottom, throw some silver coins into a cup and make your wish. It's very specific. And I know people do put the X's because in videos I've seen, they've, I think, tried to paint over the X's that were all over. And that's part of the reason why they locked it up real tight, because that's like, what's the word, like desecration of a grave or something, when people do that. And then a third thought is you will receive your wish. You leave offerings of food, money, flowers, and then ask for her help after turning 3 times and marking a cross with red brick on the stone.
Man, many X's, people's put over here over the years. Her headstone or mausoleum or crypt, whatever she's in, had to have been covered in freaking X's. So here's the last wall that goes into the front gate, and as you can see, the white pole in front of this has security cameras on it. Make sure, and this is the lowest wall here, which makes sense because it's, the front door, there's security guy.
He come around that corner like, peekaboo.
He sure did.
Peekaboo, I see you. Alright, so that's it for us visiting sites in New Orleans that have all things Marie Laveau. We hope you enjoyed this video. We'll catch you on the next exit.
Later.